All right, party people. So today we're actually gonna head out to Vivid Racing. We're gonna do baseline dyno on the Camaro ZL1. I wanna do this car right as I build it up. I've already got some mods in place to put on it. We've already got the HP Tuners tuning module. We already got the long tube headers. I already got the RotoFab big gulp intake, and I already have a catch can. Now there's a couple other things I'm gonna get for it, but as of right now, that's quite a bit of it. If you don't remember Vivid Racing, those are the guys that helped me install the parts on my Civic Type R. The downside was back then, I didn't really have the access to the dyno, nothing aligned properly, like everybody was busy over there, so I couldn't get my car in for a baseline. And I really wanted to avoid that on this car. I wanted to get a baseline and then we can see the progression as the build continues. But unfortunately, I couldn't do that on a Type R, but we are gonna be doing a dyno tune on the Civic Type R later on another video. So if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, but I believe we're over 400 wheel horsepower now. Could be wrong, but I believe we are. So let's head out there, let's go get it dynoed, see what it puts down. Let me know what your predictions are down in the comments section below. I will give you a couple of things to think about before you put your predictions in. Number one, I live in Arizona and we only have 91 octane. In the manual of the ZL1, it calls for 93. So we're down a couple of octane points. Number two, we are gonna be on an all-wheel drive dyno. It's a Mustang dyno. Mustang dynos are notorious for reading pretty low. The third thing that can make the dyno read a little bit lower is we do have the 10-speed automatic. In a quarter mile and in a straight line, typically the automatic is a lot faster because the A10 transmission shifts almost as fast as a PDK, given that you're not using the paddle shifters. And it's faster because it puts down the power faster, but on the dyno, they do read lower than the manual transmission, so keep that in mind. So honestly, I was expecting a lot lower numbers. I was expecting around 520, but it baselined at 541 horsepower, 625 foot-pounds of torque. You know, I wasn't thinking I was gonna get a lot of power out of it by doing just a tune with no bolt-ons, but I was wanting to see if there was any power to be had there, whether it's worth it just to buy the tuner if you don't wanna go full bolt-on. And honestly, we got 32 horsepower gain. We went from 541 to 573 in horsepower. And then from torque, we went from 625 to 639. So not a bad little jump just for having a tune. Now, don't get me wrong, we're gonna have this retuned and everything else as soon as we add the bolt-ons and all that. But I wanted to get this video out of the way, just in case you're wondering what the A10 puts down, you know, for factory horsepower. But the weather couldn't have been any better. It was like 65 degrees outside when we were dynoing it. So in the future, it's probably going to be a little bit warmer when we do the dyno tune. I mean, it's already being predicted to be in the 80s here in about a week. So, you know, it'll probably be in the 90s by the time I'm able to get it retuned, but it does have like the correction factor for weather and sea level and all that other stuff. So that's always good. But now that we've got it tuned, I am interested to see, is it gonna make a difference in the 0 to 60 test? I really don't think it will. I don't think it's enough power to actually make a difference. But a while back, I did some 0 to 60 test on it using the Draggy module. We averaged about 4.2 seconds 0 to 60 on a back road. And I think the fastest I got was a 3.99. So now let's go test it. I don't think it's gonna go up much, but let's just go see. All right, guys, so we're out here at my usual testing spot. We got the new steering wheel. We've got the new tune on here. Like I said, I didn't think a tune would actually make a big difference. I figured we'd do a couple of 0 to 60 tests just to be sure I've got the car properly heated up. I'm connecting to my Draggy module now, and then we're gonna put the car into track mode. All we gotta do is press this little button here, then press this twice, and that puts us into competitive traction. Then we're gonna go down to race, and we're just gonna try that. Now, I have noticed in previous 0 to 60 tests that the launch control really kind of sucks. So we're not even gonna worry about that. We're not gonna worry about shifting. We're just gonna hit the gas and go. So let's see. So we got a 4.19 0 to 60 on that, which isn't actually too bad. The fastest that I've gotten is 3.99, and this road does have a few rocks on it, but we're going to give it a couple more goes. We're going to see if that makes a difference. Got a 4.22 on that one. Now I am going to try another thing here that I've seen other people try. It's where they put the car into wet mode and launch it like that. I have heard of a couple of guys that use wet mode when they go to the racetrack and do drag racing. So it'd be kind of cool just to see, you know, if it does actually make a difference. Okay. That was way slower with the wet mode. I don't know what anybody's thinking on that. That didn't work at all. That was like a 5.2. Let's go down to Sport 2. Let's just see what that does. I'm gonna reset that. That was a 4.19. Let's just go down to dry. Let's see what dry does. That was kind of crappy too. Looks like race mode's probably the best. I wanted to try one in sport mode with traction control on, and then I wanted to try one in track mode. So let's see. Nope, not too good. I just wanted to try that real quick. You know, it's no biggie. We could try it with traction control off. I want to try it real fast. I see a car coming up ahead. not. That's not a good way to do it. But we did get a good little burnout there. Make sure there's no cars coming up. Cool. Traction control on. We're in track mode just like we were earlier when we got the fastest time. I'm gonna reset this. Nope, not too good. That was a 4.68. All right, we're down to race mode now. One more shot. There we go. Got a 4.10 on that one. That one's not too bad. So with these types of tires, these are the stock tires, the Goodyear Supercar 3Rs. I do want to get some R888Rs to put on here, just because the R888Rs have better traction in the wet and in the cold. The cold for me is like, you know, 40 to 50 degrees. But I do love the car so far. It's a lot faster than it was for the first 1,000 miles. I couldn't tell if GM limited anything on here, but I will say this. I do believe that GM did limit this engine below the break-in period, but they just didn't talk about it. But it just wasn't mentioned because, you know, like on the new Corvettes, you can't even take them over a certain RPM. And then all of a sudden the instrument cluster tells you when you've hit the 500 mile mark and it opens it up. But I did feel like this car was slower when it was below 1,000 miles. Now it seems to be getting faster, but then again, I could be wrong. I want to do one more test where I test the 0 to 60 with just in track mode with traction control on. So we're going to try that real fast. And get on a straight portion, and we're going to let that truck get way up there. All right. Well, there we go, 4.06. Not too shabby. That's like the best time we've gotten today so far. And what's interesting about that is, you know, we had traction control still on with that one, so that's kind of interesting. Got a few cars coming, we'll turn around. That was pretty cool. Let's try that again. That was a 4.58. Wow. So it seems like we're stuck in the 4s. I would like to break into the 3s, but that'll come when we get more power and better tires. But anyways, guys, let me know if you guys have any questions down in the comment section below. If you want to see the future mods that we're going to be doing to this and follow this build, hit the subscribe button. But until next time, guys, I love you, and you guys stay sexy.